breakthrough.
Hi guys, how's it going? Twiz here. This is another VOD review that I did of a solo game from one of the weekends of finals. Hope you guys can learn something from it. Make sure you check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Twiz. Follow me on Twitter, @CodeTwiz, and use code Twiz in the shop. Thanks boys, hope you enjoy.
Look at this dirty early game. It was so filthy. Get a deagle and a boogie bomb. This guy goes for the Vendo. Hit him 75. Boom, 75 midair. Try and boogie bomb him. Boom, 75. Boom, 75. Give me those kills, baby. Just no scope deagles, I suppose. So at this point, like, it's like I have to kind of fight, you know. I got my combat. I got full shield coming up. I got some mats. So I hear him building up. So I take high ground. Try to get some shots through. Just try and track out where he went. Try and follow him. I think that's one thing I did too many times today, especially in late game, was I ADS'd my combat shotgun way too much. I need to like no scope it more. You had 700 viewers a few days ago. Yeah, like sometimes it spikes pretty hard. 40 points on PS4, nice. So I get a couple ticks, try and pre-fire him as he comes out, and now I'm like shit. So he can be down there, and he can just pretty much stay down there forever. He farm metal down there. He can farm wood. Like he's probably got some shields. Like he's just chilling, you know. So I'm like, I have two options. I can either push this guy and try and kill him and take his stuff, or I just let him sit under there. I take the rest of Shifty loot, and then maybe I have to fight him later. So I pretty much just decide, like, I have a look down the side. I'm like, try and get some stinks off. Don't really get any tags. And then I just decide, like, fuck this, man. I gotta go in. So I grab the 50 real quick. We had that spare slot. Hip fire, not no scope. Yeah, same thing. Any PUBG planned? No, I haven't played PUBG in ages, bro. Sure, Crooks up. How's it going? So I just decided, like, pull out my pickaxe and just get on the wall, you know? Pull out the ramp to try and bait him in. Flip the ramp, take his wall, do this little corner. This corner edit here is one of my favorites because it gives you the right hand peek. So for him, it's like a hard angle, but for me, it's a really easy angle because I got the right hand peek. So I take his ramp, I edit it sideways, so he's sitting underneath, go for a shot, and I miss it. So I reset, hold the wall, do the corner edit again, reset, 73, corner edit again, and now here I'm like, he doesn't really have a choice. He either sits there and tries to hold the wall and like just waits there because he kind of boxed himself in, you know? So he has to go for the shot. Like he has to open up a window and he has to go for the shot. So my go-to is always pickaxe once, pull out your gun. Pull out your pickaxe, pull out your gun. Pull out your pickaxe, hit, then pull out your gun. Like you always have to have your gun ready. Like you need to be faking those hits, you know? So I pull out pickaxe once, pull out my gun, pre-aim him, pull out my pickaxe, hit it once, pull out my shotgun, pre-aim him, boom. See you later. Because you need to always be ready for them to open up that window and make a play, you know? So that's why I always do hit shotgun, hit shotgun, hit shotgun. So I'm like always ready for the edit. Okay. From here, pretty much just roll around and like collect all the mats and stuff. I don't know if we run into anyone. Maybe we do. Nameplates on. Let's see if we like run into anyone. Because I want to like show you guys some mid-game rotations, you know? So some guy like shot at me. He shot my bush off. It was kind of rude. Farm up. Grab the mats. Grab all the loot I can. Thanks, Kian. Basically, like, my goal... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I want to bring up the map. Map? Basically, like, my goal is to always after this zone is just to get as center as possible. I actually just learned a lot. Nice, Slowgrow. I'm about to go to the internet cafe tomorrow for finals so I can use a good PC and good ping. Nice. What happened here? Oh yeah, that guy tries to shoot at me, so I just like leave him alone. Let me show you this one, because it's kind of like a situation that you can run into, you know. So I try to rotate into zone. I get in the slipstream, and then I start getting shot at. And this guy like tries to get really close to me, you know. So I go through the slipstream. Then this guy, I'm pretty sure it's this guy. Oh no, someone from behind. He hits me once. I have a look around, and I see this guy's kind of chasing me. So like, essentially, because you know he's back here, and he has to come into you. Like my biggest advice right here is just get in as center as you can, which I'm pretty sure that's what I do. Just like don't even give him any like reason to try and monkey, you know. This guy was so annoying. See, he just shoots me in the back again. He just shoots me in the back again, just using my shield for no reason, you know. So I pop the 50, so I stay at 100, and then he uses he uses so many mats just to get across, so I don't take off his bush, because he wants to shoot me, but he's so scared of getting shot backwards. Why not use an AR and use SMG? I think with the new SMG, the tactical one, I don't think you need an AR. I think it does both. I think it does both really well. I think ARs are kind of meh. Is he VOD reviewing himself? Yeah, I'm just going over some games. Hope you guys can learn something. If you have any questions. I'm from New Zealand. Oh, how far does that skip forward? Oh no. We get another big shield, and then this guy is still being a dick. So we tag him. Like pretty much just watching, making sure he doesn't push us, you know? Like our mats are pretty good so we don't have to farm too much. And then this is the point where it gets like kind of dicey, you know? Like what's the next move? How do you get into zone? So originally I was like, okay, that's it kid. You've pissed me off. You're getting munked. So I just switched to brick and I just ramped at him like 3 times, you know? And I started spraying. I was like, you want to go? You want to go? Like, you want to fight? Let's fight, you know? And I seen like, he was just sitting in his box. He was getting sprayed by multiple people. His attention like wasn't really on me anymore, you know? Like you can even see in the minimap, he's facing the opposite way. And I could tell that his focus wasn't really on me anymore. So what I decided to do was instead of coming around the top hand side, rotating past this guy and potentially the one in front of him, I decided to go back around to the quiet side of the hill. So I can rotate in a bit more freely. Why brick? Because brick I just use brick. One, it's like a change of material, so it's like he really notices it, you know? It's not like I'm just using wood and he can just shoot it out. Like he'll use brick and maybe he'll think twice about shooting it, you know? Like I think that kind of material swap to a stronger material is really strong because it means that you, like in some cases you might have to use less mats. Hey Shrek, how's it going? Attack SMG? Yeah. That's not attack AR? Yeah, I know it's not. But it's still better than an AR, I think. Twiz the solo main is back. Unlucky though, Sauce Man is nuts. Meh, 2 different playstyles. He played really aggressive, I played placement. Yo, thanks Uz. Appreciate it. Where are some good drop spots? Wherever you feel comfortable, bro. Like, just pick a spot and just drop it over and over and over again. That's what I would recommend. Doesn't really matter like where it is. Every spot is going to have good players drop at it. Every spot is going to have decent loot. Every spot is going to have decent mats. It's all about where you're most comfortable and like the spot that you know best, you know? So I just decided to rotate around the close side, the safe side of the hill. And then this is the important part, right? Because you see, like, look at how many people are already set up on the edge of zone. Do I have my epic pen? Maybe I can actually like draw on this for you guys. I might have to do display capture. Oh no, that should work. Epic pen. Now there's some real VOD reviews though. So, like this is where rotations get really important, right? Because you can see, does it show you this? Yes, it does. Okay, great. So like, look how shallow this guy's set up. And this guy, he's under the turbine. This guy's really shallow as well. Like you see like 3 people here, they're set up on the very edge of the zone. Like this whole edge, because if you think about it like from a whole big map point of view, like everyone's going to be coming, because it goes down to the center, the south, everyone's going to be coming in from this side of the map, right? So if everyone's coming in from this side of the map, then you don't want to be here. You don't want to be in this side because that's where everyone's rotating in. So my goal is to start from here and come around, get into zone, and then I want to try and get like as close to the center as I can. So we'll see how that goes. Where the heck did I go? There we go. Sup, Kaha? Don't you get targeted a lot in the center? Not if you do it right. So basically, like, my mentality is if I rotate here with my heavy sniper out, like there's almost like no chance that anyone's going to peek me because you don't want to risk getting sniped in the face, you know? So I think it's like really strong to run around and just hold out your like just hold out your heavy snipe and dare people to peek you, you know? Let me just update title. So just update that title real quick. I never knew this, thanks. If you guys have any questions, let me know. So basically, like, I just run out with my heavy sniper and I'm like, come on then, peek me. You won't, you know? And then this guy does, and I only just miss him. This guy decides to land in on me like a psycho. I'm getting beamed from this other kid, right? And I'm like, okay, this is whack. So basically, like, my idea, because you see, like, look how many people are on this side of the zone, chat. Look how free it is down here, man. So much space. So my goal right now is to, like, get out and keep going in. So I go for natural cover. So I push my way through to the trees and then through to the field. You'll see. Someone is W keying you. What do? You have to, like, the thing about avoiding W keys is you have to identify that they want to be aggressive on you early. If you identify that they want to be aggressive too late, then they're going to have the advantage and they're going to get in your box and they're going to kill you. But if you can identify early someone that looks to be aggressive or someone that might have the opportunity to be aggressive on you, then you can, like, you can better defensively position yourself, or in some cases apply counter pressure to signal to the other guy, like, hey, I can fuck you up. Like, don't mess with me. I see that you want to be aggressive, so I'm going to poke you back a little bit just to know that I'm not going to go down easy, you know? Like, those are the kind of things that you can do to stop yourself from getting W keyed. How do you survive early game? Since my early is bad, early game is all about, like, having a really good drop, a really good drop, and you need to know your spot really well. This is why I say it's important to be comfortable where you drop, because you need to know where all the floor spawns are, where all the chests are, where the densest spot of loot is, you know? The densest spot. So let me use Shifty as an example, because if you come over to Shifty, can I move this? I guess I can't too much. Anyway, you guys can kind of see it. So if you land at Shifty, right? And then there's these houses as well. So what was happening was I was landing at the houses and then I was trying to push into Shifty. But what happened was this amount of loot was not giving me what I needed in order to push Shifty. So what I had to do was, instead of blaming RNG, I landed the place with the most loot spawns, which is right on top. Because right on top you have, if it's like this, you have the hut, you have your two corner spawns, right? And then you have the chest over here, and then you have floor spawn here, and you have a tree, you know? So, like, if I can get the best drop into Shifty up here, I can look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spawns. Three floor spawns and 2 chest spawns. Not only that, but it's the highest elevated area. So that gives me vision, pressure, and control. So it's about learning how to play your individual drop spot. Hope that helps. Fill up my mats because my wood was getting a little bit low. Let's twizz again like we did last summer. Let's twizz again like we did last year. What is that song, man? I don't know what that is. I'm not really that good mechanically, but I can still do really well in-game if I can make it, because my in-game decision-making is quite good, I reckon, but I have a lot of trouble making it out of early game. Well, hopefully some of the stuff I just said helps you. When do you reckon we need to be aggro? You can't like have like a set time, you know? Like some people will say, oh, you know, I have to push this guy early game, or I have to push this guy now, or blah, blah, blah. You know, it's all case dependent. And having that decision making and knowing like when you have the advantage to push, that's what's going to make you a better player. And it's hard because the way that you increase that is by playing the game and by watching your VODs. Normally I get a ball and then just look for loot and mats. Is that good? I mean, yeah, sure. What do you do when you're versing a builder? Take high ground. Do not let them have high ground. If you identify early that somebody is going to playground you, you have to switch into playground mode and you have to take that fucking high ground and don't let them have it. If you go up against the builder and you let them have high ground, you're going to get railed 100%. You need to be able to flip that switch, and if someone like starts creative like playgrounding on you, you need to be able to create playground back and take that high ground. It's really important. Sup, Cease? How's it going, bro? So basically, like, my goal right now is just to get, like, as center as I can. Decide to stop here. I don't know why I really stopped here. I think it's because, like, I saw this guy in front and I heard some building and it's 20 seconds left on zone. So I don't want to, like, over-rotate this way. Because, like, with 20 seconds left on the zone, if the zone goes... If I rotate over this way, if I over-rotate and then the zone pulls back this way, like, I'm going to be out and I have to come back in, you know? So like sometimes you need to know like when to rotate and when to just pause. So for now, like this was just like a good pausing spot for me, so I could just wait and see where the next zone pops. You should review the game where you snipe my toes. That was my first kill of the game, Joe Hobo. It feels bad, man. So anyway, speed this up a little bit. So we just wait. Zone pops. And now again, like I refocus, you know? So I go, okay, so zone pops. Where's center? Where's the closest center high ground, you know? So if this is like the center of the zone, is like here, roughly, right? I'm looking at like the closest, nearest natural high ground with potentially mats that I can use to build for free. So from where I was sitting, the most obvious choice was red barn. On 900p, it's not an option in Streamlabs for downscale. It's just a custom resolution that I entered in OBS Studio. Custom like resolution output. So I get inside the barn and then basically it's like unlooted. So I just grab some mats and grab some loot and shit. It's pretty basic. Chop my way through. The thing I always try and do first is set up like a chimney, you know? Because if you get into long barn, let's say you get into big red, and then someone's coming in, they're flying over the top, they get out of the slipstream, right? They get out of the slipstream, they're flying over the top, and they don't see any builds, they're just gonna land right on top and they're gonna yoink your high ground, you know? So I think like one of the most important things to do is to make sure you set up like I like to call it like a chimney, you know? It's like a player build that sticks out of a building. It doesn't have to be too high, but it signals to other players that you control that area, you know? Because if you don't have this on top, then it looks like free real estate. Free real estate. What if someone takes it, the center high ground? Then you have a few choices. If someone, like in my case, because I took this red barn, your other options are like closest, nearest natural high ground. So there's high ground underneath these trees. There's high ground up here. Maybe even on the house is relatively centered. Even like underneath the barn, like if you're set up to out here, I'd still think like near the center is your best. Natural high ground is a key. If not, you can always like buddy up underneath somebody else's high ground if you need to. That's why it's important to build the chimney, because if you don't build the chimney, then they're not gonna go underneath your high ground and sit underneath you, they're gonna sit on your high ground, and then you get pushed to the bottom. Twiz streams with 100 plus viewers while playing World Cup and comes second. That's only semis, but yeah, I did alright. You should make VOD review vids. I've got one on YouTube, but I could make more. When do you stop looking for center zone setup? At some point you will get focused? No? Not if you do it right. Not if you do it right. I'm pretty much always looking for center. Pretty much always. But it's a combination of center zone and natural high ground, because those are like two really important things. So farm some mats, yada yada yada. Refill my wood. Sit in my tower. Go up one more. There's a few things to consider when you go up one more. Like when you're in a 1x1 and you want to go up one more, there's a few things you should consider. Like one thing is, if you go up one more, will you still be underneath someone? So let's say if someone's got a big ass tower over here, right? Boom. They like cranked up so hard. Holy shit. If I go up one more layer, am I still going to be low ground or am I going to be high ground now? Because if you go up one layer and you're still going to be underneath this guy, then it's not worth going up one more, right? That's one thing that's like really important to look at. You're better off saving your mats, putting a cone on and playing windows. But because I know there's no one else around me, what I do is I go up one more level, and what that does is that increases my vision, it increases my pressure. So if you think about it, if I'm down one layer, my vision is like this, and I can see out, right? Like a sun. Cute. But if I'm higher up, then my vision is like this. I can see more. This is like an area that players can't go because they can't get in unnoticed. And if they do go in here, they have to enter defensively. They have to enter defensively. You'll see that later. But increasing your vision, your area control is very important. Try and snipe that guy. He falls through the floor. July, KO. When do you start building with metal? Knowing what material to use is really important. The reason why I use wood here is because there's a barn underneath me that I can use to refurbish my wood. Same case, if this was a metal barn, I'd probably use metal to refurbish it, right? But another reason why you can use wood is because there's not a big chance of me getting focused up here. If I was on low ground in the center like this guy, it makes a lot more sense to build metal, because you need to be able to have strong builds that can withstand multiple spams. So knowing when to switch materials is really strong. What if they challenge you for it by going up one more as well? Well, then it's up to you, Kenneth. So if you, like, let's say there's another box that's like here, right? And it's on the same level as me. If I go up one more and he goes up one more with me, then it's a challenge. So what I will do is I will peek out of my box and try and shoot him. Boom, 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 boom. Try and fuck him up, right? Or you go up one more. You go up again. But it depends on your base. If your base is strong, then you can keep going up, because it means you won't get knocked down, right? But if your base is not strong and you keep going up, you're going to get chopped in the middle and you're going to lose high ground. So it's about what material you're using. It's about how many people are around you. It's about how many explosives you hear, how many mats you have. If you have any way to get down from high ground, I have shadows, so I could still go up and be safe, because I can shadow out if I get chopped. You know, there's a few things that you need to identify before it's worth going up another one or not. Should you always place a cone on top of your tower? If you are high ground, you should not place a cone on top of your tower. The reason why I'm placing a cone is because I'm always looking through it. If you place a cone, you always need to be looking through it. With a brick cone, I'll actually jump up and I'll sit inside the cone. But if you have a cone on your head, you always need to be looking through it. So I cop the zone because I'm center. I cop the zone. So I go up one more in brick because I know that my base is relatively supported and I haven't heard many RPGs or anything like that, so I'm not too scared about my shit getting broken down. Also, the roof is relatively close to me, you know? Like, the distance from here to the top is not very much, even though the distance from there to the floor is really high. So the risk is lowered, you know what I mean? But if you're high ground, if you're the highest, you do not need to have a cone on. You have more pressure on high ground if you don't have a cone on, because you have the opportunity to shoot people who fly past, and you also have the opportunity to build over people who might land on top of you. Whereas if you have a cone on, it gives people free builds to bridge off, you know? They can yoink your high ground. Instead of one more, would you ramp towards him? It depends. So if I build up in this wood base, and then some psycho comes along and he starts building a metal base, right? And the metal base starts getting really fucking high, then I would go over and I'd connect to him and I'd take his high ground. So I would be the one sitting up here, because his build is going to be strong as fuck, you know? But if it's brittle, if it's wood, then maybe I can chop him down and then it's my high ground again. Those are the kind of situational, like, factors that you need to take into consideration. Isn't having a cone above you just generally safety to eat it up so you can't over peek? You can't get sniped or beamed from behind? Generally, but if you're in the highest position, you won't really, like, it's really important that if you're in the highest high ground in the game, that you don't overextend for peaks. So you'll see how I've got a lot of pressure because I don't have a cone on my head, but I'm not over peaking. I'm not like doing a Tifu and fucking, oh, I'm on the highest spot in the game, I'll just wide peek everyone and just try and get AR damage. Like, that doesn't work. If you're the highest spot in the game, someone is going to be looking at you. Someone is going to be looking at you, so you can't overextend. You have to be really careful with your peaks. Hey, thanks, Shuttle. I appreciate that. Hi, Burnsy. What map do you think the best is to top in with? I think wood for rotating, brick for base, and metal for height. That's generally my, like, what I came across. Shadow bombs or 2 rifts? Probably 2 rifts. Having a cone on you makes a psycho want to land on you as well. True. Okay. So you see, like, my peaks are really shallow, you know? Like, I'm having a look around. I've got really good vision. I can see this guy from a mile away. I've got really good pressure, but I'm not over peaking. If anything, I do a window and I pre-edit my cone, so I'm safe. Get some more tags, crack that guy, a couple of tags never hurts. But you see how I do the half edit, because I don't want to overextend, you know? So instead of making my pyramid a ramp, I edit the top tile of wall and I spray him through that. So then if you're underneath me, you still can't see me, because I'm not peeking out the top of the base. I just edit the little half wall, shoot at him. Same on this side. It's a little bit of a safer way to do it, you know? Go for some third-party snipes. Always trying to look for info through the walls. One thing I want to talk about real quick is if you're in a box, if you're in a base, see how this wall is weak because I've just edited, right? Because I've edited and I've reset it, it's low HP. One thing that's really important is you only want to have one weak wall at a time. Only one weak wall at a time. So if I edit this one and I reset it, I don't want to peek out this wall straight afterwards. Because if I peek out this wall straight afterwards and this is still see-through, someone's going to see me peeking through this window and they're going to break this wall with 2 shots, and I'm probably going to take a bit of damage. So you only want one weak wall in your base at a time. So if you want to re-peek, if you want to peek a different wall, wait for this one to rebuild, maybe even face your ramp towards it, and then re-peek another window. Couple of tags on the guys in the air. See? Pressure. I've got no cone, so I can shoot up for free. But I'm not overextending, so I'm not peeking anyone. Get a few tags. This gun is so good from range. Any tips on surviving and making it through early game? Yeah, work on your drop and learn your drop spot. Like, get a really good drop. And what I mean by drop is like a drop out of the bus work on your drop out of the bus, and learn your drop spot back to front so you know all the spawns. Do you think 1 floor plus clone with middle is best for height, or do you do 2 floors, 2 cones? I think 1 floor, 1 cone is more than enough synthesis. Either that or 2 layers, 2 flats, you know? So let's say like I want to go out from high ground here. Like if I want to go out from high ground here from this base, you have 2 ways. So you can either do middle and you do a single one with a cone, or you do 2 floors. So 1 floor, 2 floor. And then you do 2 floors out. So it's always 2 layers, you know? So it might only be flats, or it might be a singular one with cones, but it's always 2 layers. I generally try not to go more than 2 layers. So I try not to go double. Double I think is like double flat, double cone is too much. It's too many mats. How long have you been reviewing your VODs for? Very long time. But not as long as it should have been. I've probably been seriously reviewing my VODs for like 6-7 months. Maybe more. I don't know. A long time. Highest kill game? 34 solo squad from way back in the days. I think I was in this game. True. So we see the zone. So next zone doesn't move too far away from us, but it's definitely away from us. So you have like few options. When a new zone pops, you have a few options. You can either try and rotate early. So in this scenario, I could have maybe dropped to the bottom of the base, ran around this little block, and maybe like fit myself just in the edge. And that would be an early rotate, and it would just get me away from all of these crazy psychos. Or because you've got high ground, I've got a really good spot to hold people to get shots from and rotate late. So in this case, I think I had shadow bombs and a pad. So my idea is, because I've got one of the best spots in the game, hold the spot until the last second, get as much damage out on people as I can, and then rotate as safely as possible. Do you ever feel like, yeah, I definitely don't have the resources or item to take height, I'm just going to sit on the edge of zone and look for picks? Or you're always looking for a height opportunity? Not in solos. Solos is not worth going for height all the time. There's too many psychos that will just suicide for it. Who would you be happiest to see qual tomorrow? Me. Also, your story about the guy in the gym today. I want to be like that 74-year-old. Me too, bro. I always try and tag someone coming out of a rift, because if they're coming out of a rift, there's a high chance that they might be low HP or no shield, you know? And if you can tag someone out of a rift and you know they're white straight away, the earlier you can tell that they're no shield, that's when you can really put the pressure on and try and get that extra kill, you know? I play on 140 ping. Do you think there's a chance of me qualifying? Yeah, why not? Don't let your ping hold you back. Your aim looks so much worse. Yeah, it's alright. The tracking's a bit whack. But you see, I've got like a really strong position here. No one's really looking at me. You know, people are looking at high ground and zone, but they're not looking at me. So I've got a really strong position to just sit here and beam people as much as possible. See, now look at these players. You see how these players have come into my zone? Like, if I call this my zone, don't let me get in my zone. Like, if this is a zone, like, look how they've entered another person's zone, so they have to play defensively. This fish sticks is a psycho. He doesn't give a fuck. But look how defensively this guy has to play, because I hold such a strong position. I almost kill him too. Look. Oh, I almost get him, bro. You see, like, even this guy, he has to turtle his way in, you know? They all have to turtle their way in. They all have to be safe, because I hold such a dominant high ground position. There's no point in giving this up early when I have the means to rotate late and potentially get more free frags. What's your ping? It's about 30. If you get a lot of points from placement, is there a way to force yourself to be more aggressive and get kills? As soon as you tag someone, Alfie, pull out your pickaxe, like run over to them, pull out your pickaxe and start pickaxing their wall. That's the best way you can force yourself to be aggressive. As soon as you get tags on someone, Run over to their box, pull out your pickaxe, and start trying to take their wall. Get on wall is what I call it. Like, if you really want to be aggressive, you have to get on wall. Yeah, it has beta key. It has. So I have a look at this guy, make sure he's not creeping up. He's still playing defensively because he knows he can't really like force anything on me because I'm in such a strong spot. I even punish him for it. He's used so many mats. Look, he did this brick tarp all the way up here, all the way across, all the way under, all the way down, and now he's using metal. Like, this guy's fucked. If you can't take a wall after a few attempts late game, do you think just leave? Well, what I mean is, like, don't just get on a wall and just start pickaxing it like, I'm gonna replace your shit. Like, start box fighting, you know? Like, go up to the wall, pickaxe it once, then pull out your shotgun. Say, are you gonna window eat it? Okay, you're not gonna window eat it. I'm gonna hit one more time and try to replace your wall. Oh, I didn't replace your wall? I'll pull out my shotgun. Are you gonna edit on me? Okay, maybe you're not. I'll jump up, I'll put a floor, and I'll go for your cone. Boom, boom, boom. I'll start smacking your cone. Maybe you take their cone, but then it's risky to take the floor. So then you go back down, you try and take a wall. And then you jump back up and you try and take the floor. You got to be tricky, you know? You always have to be ready for the edit, and you have to try and mix it up. You can't just jump on a wall with a pickaxe and go, oh, Twiz told me to jump on wall, man. And you're going to get railed, you know? You have to engage in the box fight, and you have to always be ready for the edit. Cheers, Twiz. We'll try it with for duos, just trying to get the cash. No, you're all good, man. If you tag someone, then they will immediately think to play defensive. That's why your get on wall strat works. Exactly. I feel like every time I try to take someone's wall, they just sit there with a pump waiting. Well, that's what I'm talking about, Beta Key. You have to mix it up. You have to be careful, you know? If you can be... you can if you're a good gamer with 0 ping. Yeah, if you got 0 ping, then it's easy. You just walk up and take wall, and then you take ramp, and then you kill them. I want to see Worthy and Zori qual. They use the Perth ping, so I reckon they can use the same ping as everyone else and land. They'll chop up. True. Can you host customs? Not right now. Unless you're dubs, booger, and clicks, then you just get the wall first time. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. How many points? I don't know. How many points did I get today? Thanks, Twiz. Thanks to your tips. I went from 365 points to 100. Wait, you went down in points? I'm so confused. My spot hasn't been contested for ages, but now it is. What do? You win it. If you've been dropping your spot for ages, you should know how to play it, and you win it. You loot a shotgun, you loot shield, and you win. 77. I got second place today, I think. So, late rotate for me. Shadow Bomb. Pretty easy, pretty safe. Shadow Bombs are pretty key. Basically, a few things that I'm always looking for when I Shadow Bomb. There's a few things that I'm always looking for. I'm always looking for walls to extend my shadow. So, you know, if you don't touch the ground, you don't get out of shadow form. So I'm always looking for high ground to climb, to extend my shadow, and to make full use of the wall jump capability. Always looking for potential high ground and places that I can extend my shadow. So in this case, I'm rotating in, and I see just on the edge of zone, this high ground is not very well connected, but I can see it's high ground nonetheless. So I jump up, get on top, and build myself a little 1x1. And I yoink the drop. Mine now. Yoink. Get a launch pad, some more shadow bombs. Pretty clean. Jump out, try to get some kills. So like the one thing that's really important, right, is when you're in a position like this, if you look at this position from other parts of the lobby, it's very open, you know? So if you're looking here, everyone's going to look at high ground. And wood high ground is the least protected. So if you're over here, if you're in this guy's box, like if I open that window, I'd be looking like at high ground. I'd be looking at this guy, I'd be looking at me, and I'd be looking at probably this guy as well. Because high ground will always attract your attention. So if you've got a really strong spot, if you've got a really good spot, you have to assume that people are going to be looking at you trying to kill you. If I keep dying off my spot, should I continue to play in arena or pubs? You have to keep grinding your spot until you can win it. A lot of times. I got 49 points. Are you proud of me? Good shit, Stu. Well done. If I don't get a shotgun early game, should I try and loot and find a shotgun, or should I push someone and use SMG to kill? I think the biggest indicator of a push nowadays isn't shotgun, it's shield. If you find 100 shield very fast in the early game, I think you should push. Thanks, Dex. So again, just use a wall to block my back, my side, and then I just try and get some more picks. Zone pushes all the way across, which is kind of rough, but now I have a pad. So just looking for frags, looking for some picks. I didn't get that guy, unfortunately. Sniped my wall somehow. Should have been that guy's roof, but yeah. 10 seconds. Pop this big pot because I won't have time to pop it in the future. I had 2 big pots, so I pop the big pot and I take the minis. Couldn't re-edit my ramp for some reason. Jump out. Use some shadow bombs. Again, see? High ground. This is what I'm looking for. So my shadow, if I took 2 more steps on the ground, would run out. But what I can do is I can use the wall jump to extend my shadow duration and take a valuable spot. Boom, boom, boom. Jump up. And then I accidentally pop another one. I was trying to build. But yeah. I see the ramp. So I decide to try and get up. Again, same kind of thing. Like looking at closest high ground near the zone. So although this spot isn't in, right? Although it's not in, it's still a valuable spot. Because if you can, oh my lord. If you can set yourself up on this hill and then the zone rotates around you, you can use it as an opportunity to tarp out across and stay on height. You can also use it as an opportunity to try and get free kills. So keep high ground from this guy. Look at all the people flying. Try and get some tags. Double check that people aren't... If ever you shoot at someone, if you're on high ground and you shoot at someone in the air, straight away, you need to check your low ground and make sure you're not getting built up on. Twiz isn't so great. Are you kidding me? When was the last time you saw a player with such clean 90s and aims? Twiz puts the game in another level. We'll be blessed if we ever see a play. Twiz breaks the rules. You can keep your statistics. I prefer the magic. I like that. What should I do when I have no movement and no one around me has movements? Fight for your life. Use as many mats as you can before you run out, and then monk someone when you run out of everything. Use everything you can first. It's funny how all the OCE kids think they're cool because they qualified on OCE. I don't think I'm cool, man. I'm just trying to share some knowledge, you know. So use some more shadow bombs. Climbs up the hill, so again, extend the shadow, climb up the hill. Yoink the high ground as best you can. I try to go up for it, but I can't get it. So instead of over-committing to the high ground, I still have 2 pads. It's not worth for me to over-commit to the high ground, so I just chill where I am. You need to identify very early on. If you want to go for high ground and somebody gets over the top of you, you need to immediately give it up. If you overcommit into high ground and you still lose it, you're just going to lose so much. You're going to lose so much. Thanks, Gerudo. Twiz just helping us bots get better. Twiz, do you have a shotgun? Yes, I think I have a combat in this one. There's no delay setting. So like in this kind of situation, like just to let you know like what's kind of going through my head, basically these are the kind of things that you need to be like mentally checking off, you know. So like you get in height, like how high is height, how many people are above me, how many people are above me, what's my mats, do I have movement, is there people rotating late I can beam, where might zone go, what's the next play. Like these are the kind of like checklists that you need to go over when you reposition yourself in zone. So that's the kind of checklist. So how high is height? How many people are above me? So in this case, I know like there's only really maybe 1 or 2 guys above me. You know, what's my mats? 46 builds. I got 2 pads. You know, how many, are there people rotating in late? Yes, they are, but they're down the hill, so I can't really shoot them. Are my guns reloaded? Yes, that's a good one. Are my guns reloaded? So it's basically like an inventory / positioning check. That's essentially what this is. Is double check your inventory and double check your positioning. It's so easy to make a mistake, because if you don't check this stuff, it's really easy to make a mistake and to make the wrong play. Like, if you don't ask yourself this question, what's my mats? And you say, okay, I'm going to go for high ground now. And you start cranking 90s, boom, and then you run out of mats. Halfway through, you're in a second 90. And then you go, oh shit, I ran out of mats. Fuck, if only I had more mats. You know? There are only 2 questions. Is he in a box? Where is my W key? Oh, unlucky, Lewis. Is my penis still erect? The reviewing VODs looks so damn effective, but I can't get myself around to doing it. For me, it's rather boring. Is it boring, or do you not want to take responsibility for what happens in the game? Sometimes people don't want to review VODs because they don't want to see themselves make mistakes, and they don't want to accept responsibility for what happens in their games. That's 9 times out of 10 why people don't VOD review. You must be able to look at your mistakes. You must be able to. Regardless of how boring it is, you must be able to do that. Okay, back into the gameplay. So again, are there people around me? Can I get free beams on people rotating late? This guy's coming in. Players left till next points threshold? Yes, that's really good. What's the next point threshold? That's really important. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the video of that guy whose dad helped him qualify. Basically, what all his dad was doing was this. What's the next point threshold? That was pretty much what he was doing. He would like keep track of how many people were left alive, and he'd say to his son, don't monk that guy. You've got placement points coming up real soon. You've got 3 points coming up real soon. Top 10, top 10, top 10, top 10, you know? Like, that's so important. That's a really good one. What do I do if I kill someone and try to go for their mats? How do I do that if they're not right next to me? Turtle my way there. Yeah. Use the mats you have to replenish your mats. Sozman got first Unity. What if you don't know what mistakes you're making or don't have an understanding of what you could have done better? Well, you'll never learn that if you never look at your VODs in the first place, right? You have to continually look at your VODs in order to identify patterns that make you go wrong, you know? You'll only know how to do it if you do it in the first place. You'll never know how to review VODs if you never review them. Yeah, what's up, Big G? Thanks, man. Okay, so have a look. Again, see how I check above me? Very important. Who's above me? Because I'm looking at a pad right now. Because I see the zone pops, and the zone goes far, right? The zone goes far. It goes back across. So if you think about it this way, right? So let's say like the zone was coming down this way, right? It was coming down. Coming down to the south. And then what happens is the zone pushes back and it goes the opposite direction, right? So what that means is it gives you almost like a blindside advantage, you know? Because what I'm thinking is if this guy's come in from this side and then he goes up on high ground, because the zone goes back this way, everyone's going to be facing this way, right? Everyone's going to be facing towards the zone, focusing rotations, focusing on that kind of stuff. So if I'm on the far side of zone and I pad over the top, there's a chance that I can land on high ground without being contested. So these kind of like zones where it's following down and then it flips back, these are very strong zones to pad. Because launch pads are very effective. Because if everyone's facing away from you, you have a really good chance at yoinking free high ground. So that's like my play right now. That's like my play. So that's why I look up above me and I make sure, I have a look. I go, oh, is there actually anyone above me? Get some free beams. Run out of ammo. Can't finish the kill. Unlucky. So he starts coming up. So I don't bother going for any more damage. Rotation is the priority. I know there's nothing above me. Put down the pad. Go for it. So I go up. So from this point, this is where you need to identify what your next play is, right? So I go up, and what do I see? Can we get these nameplates out of the way, please? Okay, so I go up, and what do I see? I see one guy with 3 tiles of free space and no pressure. So that means that's a height that I can't land on. I can't land on this height. Because if he's got 3 tiles worth of pressure, he's got this much space, and he's got no one on him, it's going to be incredibly hard to land on him without him noticing. So for me, this is a height that you can't land on. It's flimsy. It's only held up by singular ramps in places. You can see it's fucking flimsy. It goes off the hill too. It goes off the hill. So one thing you have to keep in mind, right, is like when height goes off a hill, so on the hill, he's not that high, right? On the hill, he's not that high. From there to there. From the ground to the height. But when it goes off the hill, that's when the height becomes very fucking high. Look at this. Look how much taller it is now. It goes all the way up. So that's another thing that you have to think about, is how high is this guy going to be after it goes off the hill? And in my opinion, he's going to be far too high, especially on a thing that's held up by one ramp. So I have a look at that very quickly. You have to determine that very quickly, right? Lots of space on height and flimsy builds and very high off the high ground. So that for me equals a height that I just can't land on. So I fly over the ground to pop my chute as low as possible. Fly around to the side. Try and avoid as much damage as I can. One of the things that's really important with pads is you want to land as close to the zone as you can. A big mistake that I see people make is they'll go for a pad from one side of the zone. They'll go for a pad from here. And then instead of landing right here, as close as they can to the zone, they'll land back here. And then they have to rotate their way up into the zone and use tons of mats. So a really simple thing to remember when you're padding is always land as close to the zone as you can, if not already in the zone. Yeah, obviously these end games are shit, Aaron, but if anything, it makes them harder. Smaller end games are, if anything, harder. They are more unpredictable. The loot is more compact. So instead of some players having good loot and most people have kind of average loot, if everyone gets 5 or 6 kills a game, those people that make it to end game are going to have very, very, very good loot. They're going to have tons of movement. They're going to have tons of explodes. They're going to have tons of shields. It's going to make those individual players a lot harder to deal with. They're going to have more space to do what they want. They're going to get less punishment if they decide to go aggressive. They can be less predictable because they have more space to work with. Although the lobby is smaller, obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's easier. You dig? So, finish up this game. So I decide to land as close to the zone as I can. I like to give myself 2 blocks on the ground of safety. Turn around, start having a look for some beams. Try and shoot him out. Try to pull out my combat. Can't quite get him. This guy runs around for free. See you later, buddy. He opens his window. See you later, buddy. Double kill. I turn around and then I forget the perfect thing, you know? Always go for the mats. Always go for the mats. I have 36 builds. Whenever you get a kill in late game, you always, to the best of your ability, need to go for the mats. So that's what I do. Run into zone. Try and get as many mats as I can. I probably didn't even get that many. I probably could have got a lot more than that. So that was a mistake on my behalf, because I should have had way more builds than this. I only just missed the mats in there. It's worth taking storm damage for mats, so I made a mistake in this game. You didn't grab any mats? No. I tried to, but I didn't. So although my intention was good, I still made a mistake. See? There you go. Now I know that I didn't do a good enough job of picking up mats, so that's something that I need to do better next time. Review your own VODs. Learn your mistakes. Missed every mats. Well, you can't see into zone anymore. It's so hard. And I was trying to spam scroll wheel, and I thought I would have picked some up, but I didn't. So I need to make sure I pick them up next time. Why do you think people monk so much on Qualifier Saturdays? Because it's not hard to qualify, that's why. Shoot out the high ground, because it's only on one build. He dies to full damage. I try to go up for high ground. This guy just psycho lands on me, which means the other guy gets the high ground. Right? So he's got the high ground. So that means that's it. Height's lost. Do not overcommit. He's got high ground. Do not overcommit. So I go out one more to give myself space to look around, and I see that I'm very, 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 very high. I look up, and then I look down. I look up again to see what he's doing on height, and then I drop. He kills this guy, so I jump over. Probably could have grabbed some of that guy's mats too. Or maybe the mats aren't updating properly, because I think I did grab mats. I don't think... maybe these... oh no, they are. Maybe I didn't. Chuck colorblind settings on. They nerfed it. What program to use to draw? Epic Pen. Try and give him a little bit of pressure. Always looking up as best I can. See, I'm always looking up. Late game, you need to really look up, because if anyone's going to kill you, it's going to be the guy either on your layer or the guy above you. Do you think you could have more effectively used your pads to keep more builds? I didn't have this many pads. I don't think that's true. I might have had 2 at most. 2 at most. I don't think I had this many pads. So like at this point, like I've got no builds left. So now I have to try and be... like this is when I try and enter that sneaky mode, you know? So this is the kind of part where you need to be playing corners, and you need to be playing burst and surprise. You need to be unpredictable and aggressive. Right? So I go down, and I start having a look for people to kill. I see this guy in the back. Boom. Boom. Easy clap. Go in for the mats. See, I don't forget the mats. Dodge the RPG. Get out. Still get out, by the way. I think that guy dies in zone. Yeah, he does. Maybe I could have got another free kill there if I had to take that guy. So again, now the same thing. Looking up, looking down. How many people are above me? How many people are below me? So I don't want to stay mid-ground in this scenario, right? It's a 1v1v1, and I'm in mid-ground. If I stay mid-ground, I'm going to get sandwiched by both sides. This guy's going to come out of the temple, and he's going to start shooting my floor. And then this guy on top is going to start spraying down on top of me, right? So the way you get out of a sandwich is you choose one direction to go in. You either go up or you go down. In this scenario, with one build, I choose to go down. You can't let yourself be sandwiched, you know? Edit out. Go down. Boom! Unpredictable. It's very important. Very important to be unpredictable late game. So he goes up. I know he's going to be pretty focused, so I pull out my heavy snipe. Boom! Straight through the wall. Force myself through. Jump around. Hold my shotgun. Boom. See you later. He has to peek me eventually. Open it up. I know he's right outside. Spray some ramps. Block his shot. Boom. 1, 2. GG. Let's go. Don't use launchpad as easy beam for other players. Pads get more risky the longer a game goes on. Like, the longer a game, like the later the game, the more risky pads are. Because people are going to have more time to shoot you, you know? Like, if you're in a big circle like this, and you want a pad from X over here, you're better to do, like, if you have shadows and pads, you're better to do pad first, because you're unlikely to get that beamed. But in a smaller circle, it's more concentrated. People are more focused on people flying. So a smaller circle is going to be a lot harder. pad off height? Yeah, padding off height's very viable. I don't think I had that many pads, chat. I think it was bugged. I really don't think I had that many pads. Padding off high ground is very viable. So for example, if there's a hill, right, and you're on top, and then the zone goes off the hill, right, and then your high ground is very high, like that's the gap between you and the ground, instead of trying to waterfall your way down, you're much better off padding at the top. It's a whack drawing, but you know what I mean? Like, people, when they go across, you can tarp for a little bit, because you'll probably be safe for a little bit, but then as people start to set up on this side and shoot back, that's when the waterfalling becomes dangerous. So it's very underrated to pad off high ground. If you had a launch, would you take X amount of shadows or a rift? Probably a rift. But either are really good. It's totally up to you, I think. No, you had 8 pads that game? Maybe. Exclamation mark specs Bunnings. If you had a launch... Oh yeah, same thing. Odd question, but do you know any ways to translate mechanics from creative to in-game? I feel like I'm a pretty good builder in creative, but I can't build fight for the life of me. Like staying calm is like really important, you know? And having a game plan. Like if you're not staying calm and you don't have a game plan when you're in game, like how are you going to know when to crank creative builds? It's also muscle memory and practice as well. Whenever you play pubs, if someone goes up for high ground, just start cranking 90s. You know, you have to build that muscle memory. Twiz just drawing for fun at this point? Pretty much, yeah. How many pre-workouts do you have before finals? Just 1 coffee. Just played a solo arena after semis, felt completely different and relaxed compared to nervous as fuck. Any tips on not being a nervous bitch tomorrow? The thing that I always tell myself is that it's Fortnite, you know? At the end of the day, no matter how much pressure is on the line, you're still playing Fortnite. And if you're serious about doing well, you play Fortnite every day. So this day is no different to other days. Play Fortnite. Stick to your game plan.